He said I don't do drama until I posted our breakup on TikTok, and his boss saw it. The break heard around the world. I don't do drama, he said the night he walked out. His voice was steady, his eyes cold, as if those words were supposed to close the chapter of our lives. But drama didn't need his permission, because when I picked up my phone shaking with fury and heartbreak, I made a choice I couldn't take back. I posted our breakup on TikTok, and within hours the world knew. Worse than that, his boss knew too. The story of Ray and Daniel wasn't supposed to be public. 2 years together, hidden behind curated smiles and filtered vacations. No one saw the cracks, no one saw the lies, until that night when silence was no longer enough. If you find value in real stories told with clarity and truth, make sure to subscribe to stay informed with Left Woman Loud. Ray sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the empty side where he used to sleep. The glow of her phone screen lit her face as she scrolled through comments. Some strangers cheered her on, others called her petty, but one comment froze her blood. Wait, isn't this guy employed at Wexler & Co? I work there. His boss follows me. Ray's stomach dropped. The clip wasn't just a confession anymore, it was a weapon. Flashback. Daniel's words echoed. You'll never survive without me. No one cares what you have to say. And yet now millions cared. Now someone important cared. Her phone buzzed again. A direct message from a name she recognized but never expected. It wasn't a stranger this time. It wasn't another supporter. It was his boss. Ray's breath caught as she opened it. The message was short, professional. Would you be willing to talk? I think we should hear your side before he gives us his. Her fingers trembled. Not from fear, but from the sudden dangerous shift of power. Daniel always said he didn't do drama. But what he didn't know was drama had just begun doing him. The boss's message. Ray read the message again. Her heart hammered so loudly she thought it would wake the neighbors. Would you be willing to talk? I think we should hear your side before he gives us his. It was real. It wasn't a prank, not a scam. The boss of Wexler & Co. had slid into her inbox after midnight. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Was this what she wanted, to tell the truth? Or to watch Daniel's carefully built world collapse? He once whispered in her ear, "You're my soft place. Don't ever weaponize my trust." And yet, he weaponized her heart every day, twisting her silence into submission. Now she held the weapon. Ray opened a new draft on TikTok. The caption blinked at her. Should I tell his boss everything? But her thumb froze. This wasn't just another video. This was real life colliding with the curated feed. She deleted the draft. Flashback. The last time Daniel mentioned his boss, he smirked. She thinks I'm flawless. She'd never believe you over me. Not in a million years. But now the boss had seen the raw, unfiltered Ray, the one Daniel tried so hard to erase. Her phone buzzed again. Another DM. Ray, I hope you don't mind me reaching out. This isn't company related. But as a woman, I need to know if what I saw is true. The boss wasn't asking as an executive. She was asking as a human being. Ray typed back before fear could stop her. Yes, it's true, and it's worse than the video. She pressed send. Her body shook, adrenaline flooding her veins. For the first time in months, Daniel's voice wasn't the one echoing in her head. It was hers. Somewhere across the city, Daniel's phone would be lighting up too. He'd see the same messages. He'd know she broke the rule he clung to like scripture. No drama. But someone else had a different plan. Her side of the story. Ray stared at the blinking cursor on her phone screen. The boss had asked, tell me everything. Everything. The word was both terrifying and liberating. For years, Daniel had insisted her story didn't matter, that no one would believe her version, that her voice was too emotional, too messy. But now someone wanted her side, not for pity, not for gossip, but because truth had a value Daniel never anticipated. Ray typed slowly at first. He told me he didn't do drama, but what he really meant was he didn't do accountability. I moved in with him when I had nothing. He promised safety, stability. Instead, I became invisible in my own life. The words spilled like a confession she had been writing in her head for years. Flashback. She remembered the dinner parties where Daniel performed, laughing, confident, telling jokes that made him seem charming. Meanwhile, Ray played the role of the supportive girlfriend. Her smile rehearsed her silence heavy. One night she tried to add to the conversation. He cut her off with a smirk. Don't embarrass yourself, this isn't your lane. Everyone laughed. She laughed too, swallowing the humiliation. Back in the present, her thumbs flew across the screen. I kept quiet because I thought silence meant loyalty. But silence only fed his ego. He treated me like a placeholder, like my pain was background noise. I never wanted revenge. I just wanted to be seen. She paused. Tears blurred the screen. Would his boss believe her? Or would she dismiss Ray's story as just another breakup rant? A reply came almost instantly. Ray, I believe you. I've seen signs at work too. Arrogance, dismissal of women. But I never had proof. Your voice might be the missing piece. Her chest tightened. It wasn't just personal anymore, it was bigger. Flashback. Daniel's mantra. If anyone asks you, say we're perfect. You don't make me look weak. But now Ray realized perfection was his mask. Her silence was the glue. And TikTok had been the hammer that shattered it. Her phone buzzed again. Not from the boss this time, from Daniel. A single text. Delete it now, or you'll regret this. Ray's hand trembled, but what he didn't know was she wasn't deleting anything. His counterattack. Daniel's text glared at her from the screen. Delete it. Now, or you'll regret this. The man who once swore he didn't do drama was now unleashing it line by line. Ray's chest tightened, but her hands didn't move toward delete. Instead, she set the phone down as if the weight of his threats would lessen if she wasn't holding them. Flashback. She remembered the night he first taught her what regret meant. It wasn't with fists. It was with silence. 3 days of no calls, no texts, no acknowledgement after their first fight. When he returned, flowers in hand, he whispered, "Don't push me like that again. You won't like who I am when you do." It wasn't drama, he claimed. It was discipline. Control disguised as love. Back in the present, Ray's phone buzzed again. A new notification. Not from Daniel this time, from TikTok. Your video has been shared 25,000 times. The story had left her hands. It had become something bigger than her. Daniel must have realized it too, because the next text wasn't a threat. It was a plea. "Please, Ray, think about my career, about what this will do to me, about what people will say." The irony cut like glass. When had he ever thought about what people said to her, about the humiliation she swallowed in silence? A final message came, longer, desperate. "If you keep this up, you'll ruin me, and if I go down, I'll make sure you come with me. You have secrets too, don't forget that." Her breath caught. Secrets. The word hit her like a match in dry grass. Flashback. A locked drawer, a late-night phone call, his sudden trips always with excuses that didn't add up. She remembered standing in the kitchen, phone in hand, debating whether to scroll through his emails. She never did, because she was afraid of what she might find. Ray's pulse quickened. He was bluffing, wasn't he? Or had she underestimated how far he would go to save himself? Her phone buzzed once more. This time it wasn't a text. It was a new TikTok tag. Someone had stitched her video with another clip, and what appeared on her screen made her stomach drop. The stitch. Ray tapped the notification with trembling fingers. The video loaded slowly, the suspense stretching like a taut wire. It was a woman's face, not hers, not someone she knew. The woman looked directly into the camera, her tone steady, her expression sharp. "I saw your video about Daniel," she began, "and I need people to know he's been doing this for years. You're not the only one." Ray's breath caught. Her throat went dry as the stranger spoke, each word a blow she hadn't braced for. "He told me the same line, I don't do drama. But when I called him out, he gaslit me until I thought I was insane. And then he left me with the mess. Alone." Flashback. Ray remembered her first breakup scare with Daniel. He had whispered those exact words after a brutal argument. "I don't do drama. You either calm down or I'm gone." She had begged him to stay. She had lowered her voice, swallowed her truth, and built walls around her rage. But hearing the stranger now, Ray realized it wasn't just a line, it was a script. The stitched video cut to screenshots, emails, messages, dates that overlapped with Ray's own timeline. Her stomach turned. She wasn't paranoid. She wasn't crazy. Daniel's betrayal had been bigger, wider, more practiced than she ever allowed herself to believe. Back in her apartment, Ray gripped the edge of her bed, knuckles white. The comments beneath the stitch exploded. Classic narcissist move. "Girl, you're saving lives by posting this. Wexler & Co. is this, the man representing your company." The tide was shifting. Her story wasn't just hers anymore. It had become a storm. Her phone buzzed again, this time a call. "Daniel." She didn't answer. Instead, she watched as a voicemail notification appeared. Her thumb hovered, then pressed play. "Ray, listen to me. Stop this before it gets worse. You don't know what you're unleashing. You think they care about you, they don't. They'll turn on you, and when they do, don't expect me to save you." The words echoed like a warning and a threat. But what he didn't know was, she wasn't looking for him to save her anymore. The confrontation. By the time Ray woke the next morning, her video had surpassed 1 million views. Her notifications buzzed like a hive, every scroll showing more stitches, duets, comments, and shares. But the one that stopped her cold was from Wexler & Co. itself. A simple corporate statement. We take these matters seriously. Effective immediately, Daniel Walker has been placed on leave pending internal investigation. Her heart pounded. It was happening. The fallout she once only dreamed of was now real and public. Flashback. She remembered Daniel strutting around their apartment after his last promotion. I'm untouchable. My boss worships me. Clients love me. Even if you wanted to ruin me, you couldn't. She almost believed him then. But now his empire was wobbling. Her phone buzzed again. This time not from strangers. From him, 3 missed calls. A barrage of texts. Answer me, Ray. This is your fault. You think they'll side with you, they'll chew you up and spit you out. And finally, please, just meet me. One conversation, that's all I ask. Ray's chest tightened. Every instinct screamed to block him to keep scrolling to bask in the tiny taste of justice. But another voice whispered the one she tried to silence for months. What if he finally tells the truth? Meanwhile, across town, Daniel faced his own battlefield. He sat in a sleek office stripped of his usual bravado. His boss, sharp-eyed, unyielding, slid a printout across the desk. Comments, screenshots, the stitch, evidence messy but damning. Daniel, I need to hear from you directly. Did you manipulate, harass, and lie to your partner because the internet seems to think you did? And frankly, so do I. For the first time in years, Daniel's voice faltered. She's exaggerating. It's drama. I told her I don't do drama, but his boss didn't blink. Maybe that's the problem. You don't do accountability either. Back in her apartment, Ray sat on the couch staring at his final text. One conversation. She remembered his threats, his gaslighting, his silence. But she also remembered the one thing she never truly got from him, an ending that belonged to her. Her finger hovered over the screen. She typed one word. Where? What she didn't know was, Daniel already had a plan. The meeting. Ray chose the place carefully. Not his apartment. Not hers. Neutral ground, a coffee shop, downtown, glass walls, and bustling strangers. Safe, she told herself. But her pulse betrayed her as she slid into a corner booth, clutching her phone like a lifeline. Minutes later, Daniel walked in. No swagger, no polished grin. Just a man stripped of his armor, wearing yesterday's suit and last night's panic. He sat down across from her, eyes darting like he was scanning for escape routes. You didn't have to do this, he said, voice low. His hands trembled, barely hiding it beneath the table. Ray held his gaze. You didn't have to break me. For a moment, silence stretched between them. The kind of silence filled with all the words they never said. Flashback. She remembered begging him for closure. Just tell me why. Was it me? Was I not enough? His answer had been a shrug. I don't do drama. And then he walked away. Now he looked anything but drama-free. You've ruined me, Daniel hissed, leaning closer. My job, my reputation, everything I built, it's all crumbling because of you. Ray's chest burned, but she didn't flinch. You ruined yourself. I just stopped covering for you. Then his voice dropped into a whisper that made her skin crawl. You think this is over. You think TikTok comments will save you, Ray. I know things about you, about your family, about what you've hidden. If I go down, you go down too. Her stomach clenched. Secrets, always the secrets. But before fear could paralyze her, she remembered the stitch. The stranger. The proof. She wasn't alone anymore. Ray reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. The screen glowed, recording. Then say it, she said calmly. Say everything you think you know. Let's see who regrets it more. His eyes widened. For the first time, Daniel looked cornered. He leaned back, a twisted smile tugging at his lips. You think you're smart. But what you don't know is, the shop door opened, and someone else walked in. Someone Ray never expected to see. The interruption. The cafe door chimed. Ray turned, half expecting another customer, a stranger with no stake in this war. But it wasn't a stranger. It was the woman from the stitched TikTok. Her face was sharper in person, her presence magnetic. She scanned the room, spotted Ray, and walked toward the booth with a certainty that made Daniel pale. Ray, she said softly, sliding in beside her, I'm sorry to intrude, but I couldn't let you face him alone. Daniel stiffened. What the hell is this? You two know each other? Ray shook her head. No, but she knows you. Flashback. Ray remembered rewatching the stitched video at 3 a.m., clinging to every detail. The tone of the woman's voice, the receipts she posted, the truth that mirrored Ray's own. It felt like a lifeline. And now that lifeline had stepped into her reality, the woman placed her phone on the table. The screen lit up with folders, screenshots, emails, photos. I kept everything she said, eyes locked on Daniel. Every lie you fed me. Every promise you broke. I thought I'd never use them. But then I saw Ray's story and I realized silence only protects you. Daniel's composure cracked. His jaw clenched, his voice low and venomous. You don't know what you're doing. You're both digging your own graves. Ray leaned forward, her phone still recording. No, Daniel, we're digging up yours. Around them, the cafe chatter dulled. Strangers sipped their coffee unaware, or maybe unwilling to admit that they were witnessing a reckoning. Daniel's eyes flicked between the two women, panic replacing arrogance. For the first time, he was outnumbered, outmaneuvered. The woman's voice cut like glass. Wexler & Co. isn't the only one who deserves the truth. The world does too. And now we have enough to show it. Daniel's mask slipped. The man who didn't do drama was suddenly drowning in it. He pushed back from the table, muttering, "You'll regret this." But his hands trembled and his steps toward the door were uneven. When the bell chimed again behind him, Ray exhaled for the first time all day. Her ally turned to her. This isn't over, but now you're not alone. What Ray didn't know was, the next move wouldn't come from Daniel. It would come from someone watching both of them. The final reckoning. The days that followed moved like quicksand. Every post, every stitch, every screenshot spread faster than Ray could track. Daniel's name was no longer just hers to speak. It belonged to the internet, to strangers dissecting the man who once insisted he was untouchable. And yet the noise outside couldn't drown the quiet inside Ray's chest. For the first time in years, the silence wasn't his weapon. It was her sanctuary. Flashback. She remembered the night he told her, "Don't make me look weak." She had swallowed her truth like poison, smiling at dinners, laughing at jokes that cut her open. She had confused silence for strength. But now the world knew, his boss knew, and most importantly, she knew silence hadn't protected her. It had protected him. The call came on a Wednesday. The woman from the stitch was on the other end, her voice steady. "It's over, Ray. He resigned. He didn't even fight it." Ray closed her eyes, her body trembling with relief and disbelief. The man who didn't do drama had been undone by it. Not hers. His own. That night, Ray opened TikTok one last time. She sat by the window, city lights spilling across her face, and hit record. I didn't post my story to ruin him. I posted it because I was tired of being erased. For anyone who's ever been told you're too emotional, too messy, too much. Your truth is not drama. Your voice is not a liability. It's your proof you survived. Her voice cracked on the last word, but she didn't edit it out. She let it breathe raw and unfiltered. Hours later, as dawn broke, Ray scrolled one final time. Among the flood of comments, one stood out. From Daniel's boss. "Thank you for your courage. You did what I couldn't." Her chest tightened, tears slipping free. For once, they weren't tears of fear. They were release. She glanced at the empty side of the bed. Once a reminder of absence. Now a symbol of space reclaimed. Daniel's voice no longer haunted her. Her own voice did. And for the first time, it wasn't trembling. As the city woke, Ray whispered to herself words he once used to control her, now rewritten in her favor. "I don't do drama. I do truth."